All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crescent City Cup. I am one of your two announcers, Jesse Day, and I have
Uh-huh.
the distinct pleasure to be joined by my Singaporean friend, colleague, talented player,
I forget who I'm playing.
Toe Wei Bin.
This is fine. Yeah, Ollie.
Good morning, everyone.
No, Ollie.
It's
Unless you think of
yeah,
five
it's
times.
5 a.m. here in Singapore, and I believe it's in the afternoon in the US. In yeah, for everybody, and yeah, we're watching Evan Borofsky versus Jason Keller. Both of them are 3-1 at the moment, and it's Jason. No, it's Evan to start. So, what have you been up to, Jesse?
Oh, that's a great question. Not a lot of Scrabble, I'm afraid. So I'm very excited to judge the
What
performance of other people.
the Crescent City Cup? Why are you commentating?
I'm going to make up a different reason every time that someone asks me about that. For this round, the reason that I am commentating and not playing is tax reasons. I would have to
Reasons.
report my income from this tournament, and yeah, nothing more needs to be said.
I don't know what that's about.
Well, it's a totally fictional reason, but that's what I'm giving for this round.
I see. Okay. Let's see what's happening on the board. Okay. So, Ethan has gone on the board.
Ah, right, they're playing Scrabble. I should probably pay attention to that. There are some slight audio issues on the commentary side, and I apologize if I get slightly confused. It's my first time commentating. Bear with me, world. So the first question for our viewing public is, what are the extensions of adjacent? And the great thing about this is that I have no idea what the answer is. So I'll wait for some wise people in the chat to argue about this.
So, Jason is considering playing Watch, and the thing about Watch is that it takes a couple of front hooks,
24.
an A or an S. I've been guilty of missing quite a lot of them
Yeah.
myself, but so I want to do quite a clunky rack.
Yeah, if there's one guarantee about Evan's play, it's that he has supreme word knowledge. I mean, he basically knows the entire book, about as strong as there is in the game. And so I guarantee you he's going to pounce on the watch hook.
Now, or well, there's another hotspot, which is the triple letter score, the CH, which he can't really do that much about. I think if he wants to have a very good balance, maybe half HAFT.
Yeah, that would leave a slightly unsynergetic BGR leave, but yeah, it's definitely an option.
Yeah, what would the great Jesse Day do in this situation?
In this situation, I would be pouncing on that watch hook on the back and probably play Garth and Watcha.
Yeah, that's the back hook as well. Yeah, Garth is like, but B and F.
Oh,
Not the
BNF
best
is
deal.
unideal. He has a multitude of clunky letters here, so We'll see. Meanwhile, Jason seems to have picked up a nice keep for himself and should probably be expecting all those letters to go on the board in the near future.
Of course, another option is to play something like BAGH, bag, and watcha. RT, slightly more consonant heavy, slightly better synergy, but you know, also less than Garth. Depends. I guess it depends. FRT is not too bad, I guess. It's even though it's more consonant than F and B. Be worth doing the point sacrifice. 6-point sacrifice.
My sense is that he might go for that. Well, he seems to be choosing a different alternative.
35.
Interesting.
Okay. Egg. Oh wow.
35 total.
Yeah, it's an interesting selection. It leads to a more defensive board, so I can see there being some benefits to it. But I think that we are about to see Jason pounce on this opening because Hag takes a back G, and I think he may be availing himself of that in the near future.
Be seeing a bingo.
Well, I guess we'll find out if he sees it. By the way, folks, my audio is now fixed. It was a rookie mistake. It turns out that when you leave the stream that you're trying to commentate on open, while you're commentating, you might start to confuse yourself. So, very interesting. Jason may not have taken the time to spot the new hook that got open. And from Evan's shake of the head, my sense is that he knows about the G hook on Hag and is a little surprised that Jason missed it. Or he shook his head because his neck is sore from playing lots of Scrabble.
Well, he's just
we'll
shaking his
find
head
out.
because it's just a bingo. I mean, you just shake your head at this kind of things.
At every
Any bingo.
bingo?
Yeah, every bingo. Like,
Is that
yeah,
what they do in Singapore?
it's what I do.
I haven't noticed.
Yeah, every
it.
bingo-
I will keep an eye out for it in the future.
Every bingo is a sign of luck sack.
Your opponent should never bingo.
It's terrible.
While sorry, Weaving. While Evan evaluates his response, it's worth pointing out, as I'm sure has been pointed out in the chat before, that Evan is our defending champion. I played him in the final round of the tournament last year, and he beat me and won the crown, or the trophy, rather. There is no crown to my knowledge. So he's our defending champion. Meanwhile, Jason Keller is coming off of a great win at the California Open, where he went 17-3 against a very strong field. So I would say that both of these guys are, well, they're among the best players in the world, obviously, for anyone who doesn't watch these things regularly. But I think they're in pretty good form.
Yeah, I think Jason also had a good show at the last year's. Was it the Worlds last year? I think.
Well, he nearly won the U.S. National Championship, not last year, but 2 years ago. He was leading for a lot of the duration. So, yeah, there's no doubt that our viewing audience is in for a treat. It doesn't really get much better than these two gentlemen of the game. Evan is taking a lot of time here And to be frank, I don't know if, as an announcer, if I'm supposed to mention these things, but that is definitely a characteristic of Evans. He finds his bingos fast and spends a lot of time deliberating on the non-bingo turns. And when games get more defensive, I have seen him run into time trouble. Whereas Jason is usually a little bit further up on his clock. So it'll be interesting to see if that turns into a factor down the road.
Yeah, Jason made it into the quarterfinals of the World Scrabble Championships in November. Now, currently, in terms of the WESPA international rankings, Evan is sitting on rating of 2019, which is 21st in the world, while Jason Keller is 36th in the world at 1980. Yeah, pretty high-rated players right there. And
22.
Wow.
Deciding to play his fairly consonant-heavy rack of A, B, F, and R, S, T. And I mean, he's probably setting up for the T hook.
That's right.
I think that's quite 4 consonants. Spain takes other hooks as well.
It takes an E,
Yes.
I do
Yeah.
believe. So it's not
Yeah.
an especially defensive.
E is the most glaring
move.
one. I mean, he's behind now, but not by that much, I think.
Yeah, I think it's certain at the very least that he would have gone with something hooking a watch had he seen it. So my suspicion is that, well, actually, Jason has not had an A, so we'll see if he spots that. But oftentimes, these multi-turn oversights end up being really costly to the final outcome. So that could give Jason an edge over time.
Talking about multi-turn oversights, there was this game that I played against, well, you might know Marlon Prudential. And so what happened was, yeah, so what happened was I played, I think it was my first tournament in the New Dictionary, and I played Jakes, Jakes.
Okay.
And I completely forgot about the T hook, Jakest, which is, and I think that cost me like 100 or 200 equity.
Seems possible.
I missed the bingo there, and then he played his bingo there, and I challenged it and everything. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
So,
no, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I had a similar game the year that I played Matt Tunnicliffe in the finals in the TWL championships. We had a game during the main event where each of us missed the E hook on G's, Jeez, for a good 6 or 7 turns apiece. It was truly a carnage of equity loss.
well, I think that was on stream, right? Or something.
I don't think it was on stream. Maybe it made the rounds as sort of an example of folly or.
38.
So meanwhile, Evan has, well, I think fairly obvious play.
Yeah, that's an important move for him, getting a play down fast.
Well, I guess he has the front extension of Jason, but
Oh, very
Jason.
interesting. Sub Jason, what a beautiful word.
Yeah, but I guess if you're not looking out and you're not sure of that, then XU is as good as play as any other.
It's totally possible that Evan has studied sub Jason. I wouldn't put it past him, but it looks like he hasn't thought of it. Else that would certainly be a better play than XU.
Yeah.
And also, Jason had another chance to play Hag and Vying, and so that's further sign that he didn't spot the hook or wasn't confident about it there.
From the chat, fleamed is a word, but there's no 7s on this rack.
Wow.
That's and it's probably it's probably right to take the feint hook right now, I guess. Or maybe not. What do you do in this situation?
Oh, the things I would do. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think that more generally, something that people do wrong in these positions that I try to guard against is getting too fishy. The blank is sort of the great equalizer of leaves, right? You don't really need to keep a wonderful leave to bingo with the blank. And so in this kind of position, I'm looking to score.
Yeah.
In terms of how to do that, that is another question entirely.
Well, I think taking the feint hook is probably what can be done now. Is by doing so, you will likely open the triple center row.
Yeah,
Fleam.
the one thing to watch out for, if he plays Fleam, there's actually not a natural place to bingo next turn. So you do want to leave somewhere for yourself to bingo, I think.
But I guess the thing is when you open the triple lane, actually your opponent is like I think your opponent is fairly likely to play there if he plays normally. So
it's not a guarantee. So it's a judgment call.
Yeah, it's a judgment call. Yeah, probably plays flat instead of Fleam.
Yeah, so as I said, I probably would have taken the extra 8 points just because
24.
I don't think keeping EM helps with the blank that much. But yeah, this is an entirely reasonable play. It'll be interesting to see how Evan responds. By the way, voting is now open for your favorite Scrabble player. Well, no, actually, it's for the who you want to see on the stream. Sort of an indirect popularity contest, I guess. But yeah, vote now through the Twitch chat for your round 6 game of choice. I guess it's an indirect popularity contest, or an infamy contest.
So there are 3 options. Take your pick.
3 options to play, or 3 options for the game?
For the game. Yeah, Brad versus Joshua, Ben versus Austin, and Tim versus.
Wow, those are some juicy matchups.
Yeah.
Or actually, is that for round 7? Is round 6 already known? No, they showed the. Oh, they didn't see the results. Okay, we know something the audience
that will be for
doesn't.
round 6. Yeah.
I'll keep it secret. Can't influence the voting. So yeah, this is another turn where not seeing a watch is hurting Evan, because I am pretty sure that it would be the best move if he spotted it. So it's sort of like the moves become harder when you don't see hooks. Is a rule that I've noticed. And very interesting. Evan's getting a little aggressive with it, and he tacks on the R. He could have played Wob at that spot, but he's playing Warb and setting up his S. And to us, that looks like a good move. It's actually quite bold. There's 3 S's unseen and both blanks, and well, actually, he's going to get immediately punished for this one.
Oh, there's a Y as well, right? I mean, 1 Y is up, but there's Warby. Yeah, which would score a ton of points. Well, but yeah. I guess Warb is not that bad if you miss a watch. Yeah.
It was a bold move, certainly.
Yes. Yeah.
I probably would have done Wob myself, because I don't know if BRST is all that much worse than BST. And
I guess the thing is, it's a bit strange that the earlier turns he kept a consonant heavy rack, and now he's at the expense of. He kept a consonant heavy rack just and just to keep something in. This time he's blasting it open, and playing and keeping one less consonant against his.
My feeling is that he hasn't seen a blank yet, and he wants to turn over an extra tile. That's one possibility. Another is that he thinks that he'll get a good chance to cash his S. As I indicated, I don't think it happens that often, and I think most of the time Jason gets there first, as he just did. But in any case, Evan is by no means out of this.
It's one thing that happens when you've been playing the game quite a few moves for each player is that your opponent is likely more and more likely to have an S as time goes.
Exactly.
Made, and they've played quite a few moves already, and including bingos, and this is the first like S/blank that that has opened that opened I guess quite a few moves into the game, so you should expect your opponent to have an S, I guess.
Yeah, that feels to me like one of those scenarios where you run into it a lot when you play, and you open, and maybe it even sims best on a Quackle sim, and then you find out through painful experience that they actually have it more often than not, but not every time. Also, it doesn't pay to be super paranoid about these things. It's just sort of one of the nuances of the game to evaluate roughly what they've got.
The other thing about the other thing that Evans is not doing so well on right now is time.
Right.
Below 12 minutes on this clock now. And
wow, what was that? Sorry, I'm not supposed to respond that way. He just put his E instead of his A. Because Baba is a word. That is a fascinating decision. Does anyone have any thoughts on what he may have been thinking?
So you have 196. Yes.
Well, I imagine. Seeing that there are quite a lot of E's left, and imagine that the I and A go slightly better with the F and the L of flat. If he has the bingo there, but well, that just changed his ideates to ideata with no S.
Yeah, it shows what I know. It doesn't seem to have hurt him that much. It was a nice rack now.
Oh, he would have had ideates. Now he can open with like adjacent or something.
But maybe even more to the point, even if he had ideates, he wouldn't have anywhere to play it right now.
That's right.
He's trailing a bit. He has to think a bit about how he's going to get a bingo down and get himself level. Or if not a bingo, then maybe starting to think about how to use the power tiles or some kind of high scoring play, because this board is fairly tight at the moment, and if he doesn't make any adjustments, it's going to stay that way.
That Jason is not thinking of opening up at the moment.
I can't imagine he would want to.
Yeah, the eye of metering Tivy or Viney or something along. There's also the spot which Babe has created. He can probably play dry or something there, but I think he wants to get rid of the V-U combination. V is probably a good play.
And Tivy does block the R for bingo, so I can see that being I can understand why he would prioritize that. I quite like moves like dry on on sort of a tight board like this. Although a lot of times those scoring spots get covered up in a tight game, and it becomes a race to see who can cover them first. But actually, in this case, it's hard to imagine other plays besides Dry that would have played at 13C or 3M or whatever you want to call it, the Dry spot. But I still would have taken the points. I think it would have been very reasonable to be greedy there. But this is to me a real test of expertise, is being in Jason's shoes and closing the game out.
I thought I thought being an expert is I thought expertise is if you're in Evan's shoes and trying to catch up in this kind of situation.
Well, both of them. It's a bit of a contest of wills.
Yeah. I imagine that Evan probably has to open something up, which is well, probably hope that Jason either doesn't have the tiles or doesn't find it worthwhile to block it. But it seems like there's not really any good spots for the bingo right now, and if he opens something up, it's probably going to be right for Jason to just close it.
Yeah, this game is far from over. Just to be sure about that, I mean, down 50, with a blank unseen, he has to be strategic here, but a lot of game is left to happen. I'm quite tempted by that column, the mill or mal spot. Making something like Tian, Tian, if, and mal, or that's not quite the right move, but that's where I would be looking in Evan's shoes. But it seems like it has the potential to turn into a nice lane. He could even just play EAN, which would set up an S hook, and the lead is pretty bad. But I do like the board shape a lot.
Yeah, so I think something like EAN actually does. I mean, it opens up very nicely, in the sense that it's not that easy for Jason to block without sacrificing a lot of score. If you compare it to something like just playing to the triple, dated, or it's very easy to block.
I think another reasonable option might be even just playing Mali, M-A-L-I. Please tell me that's a word. Like playing across to open the top right. It's okay. If we don't say these things, we're just going to assume we know everything.
I don't know anything at all now.
You said that even when you did know things, so I don't know whether to believe you.
Well, I guess, he can play something like slash feigned as well, FAINED. But that doesn't open up the bingo line. I mean, that's just taking score.
But he's not down that far, so taking score there would be quite...
Yeah.
So even just Aida, feigned... That is... actually, Aida setting up to the Z would be... Oh, wait. Very interesting.
Oh, wow.
29.
For 28 points, putting him down 22. And Jason has accepted feigned, so no hesitation from him on that one. I don't think that's an unreasonable play. I'm not sure that I love it, but with a blank unseen, 2 more S's, and only down 50, it's an interesting selection. I can't say for sure that I would do it myself, but I think that's actually quite a creative decision. And Jason does not have an obvious response. He could just play Zounds into that S.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he'll end up doing, but I think we're going to actually see this get very tight down the stretch after that move.
Oh, I mean, not with Evan's rack, but
I think it's actually quite good, especially if Zounds comes down and he gets a spot for Aquilea.
yeah. The board will be quite closed after that. You're right. Whether someone takes something as a response.
Yeah, I'm warming up to Evan's play. What's interesting, SAIDE is valid, right? I should probably have my own checker open for this stuff. So he could have played that, but he chose to play Stayed to keep to open up the top of the board, and I like that. I think that's kind of a nice equilibrium between taking the points and sort of board control, thematic.
I think the thing that players like to do is, you know, overvalue the S when
24.
on this board actually it doesn't have that much value.
Right. Exactly. It's a great point. We've been with no S hook on the board and 2 more in the bag. The S has very limited value.
To say that I would do what he did, but I think we're all making that qualifier. But
yeah,
I
another
think
choice. Sorry, I don't want to talk over
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, so another choice would have been to play Tead and set up Stead, and that would have been another way to like make the S more valuable by creating a lane. I can't say for sure that would be better, and I think actually. Oh, interesting. Evan finds a nice way to score on this board and stay in striking distance.
253.
I think the thing about State is, you know, you're probably still trying to gun for a close, you know, kind of win to catch up without needing the bingo. The other options probably would have steered a bit towards needing a bingo to win.
Right, and he's not down so far, so he I think he correctly judged that you didn't have to sell out for a bingo.
Of course, it's good to have the bingo option open as well, more open as well. So, still not so sure whether I would have played State myself. But
well, he can still open on this turn also.
yeah.
For instance, if he suddenly finds a watch hook, he could play Leah or Lee, Elia, and a watch and set up Ilea, which would go very poorly for him, as it turns out. I mean, in reality, he's almost starting to play through the Z, I think. But let's see. I'm not sure that I loved Saws for Jason, incidentally. I probably would have gone with Zounds. The thing about playing Saws there, it worked out nicely in terms of the pick, but he's only turning over 2 letters, and there's a lot of, well, there was the blank and another 2 S's in the pool, and I would have prioritized turnover on that turn, I think. But I understand why he played Saws, because Zounds would have opened up a big scoring play, as it turns out. So it would have been a tricky call. And I'm sure that he did think about Zounds, since he had it land up on his rack previously. Jason and Evan are both starting to run a little low on time here. There's a whole lot of game left. Are there really 25 tiles in the bag? That is a major number given the time that these two gentlemen.
I guess if you're in this situation right now and it's not your turn, it's a good idea to do all the tracking and everything because you want to make your.
Yeah, frequently what happens is this is where you mistrack and you have to find the balance between fixing your tracking and play finding.
Yeah. This is not an easy move for Jason, I think. So, what kind of score he can make while keeping
I
something.
didn't even mention it because I had no idea what I would choose. So.
Yeah, exactly. He might be going for something like, I don't know, DI and QI, or am I?
How about Underwatch? Please don't look it up. I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that's a word.
Overwatch is a word.
As well as a very fun game. And speaking of which, thank you for the intro, Weeby, because no, I'm just kidding. We don't do cross collaboration with Overwatch. Maybe someday. Yeah, this takes extreme patience in Jason's shoes. I'm sure that he would love to set up a lane for himself and just bingo and keep it simple, but oh no. Oh no. Oh, Evan is nodding. Oh, he flinched, but I think he's about to accept that. Wow. That is a famous phony, ladies and gentlemen. At least I'm almost positive it's a famous phony.
Wow, yes, you're right.
What a missed opportunity. I am very surprised. I thought Evan would pounce on that given his studied discipline. He'll be kicking himself later for that one. But he's still right there.
But he's playing for the blank. Yeah, probably.
Both playing for the blank and Ozalad is a little harder to get comeback on. If he just played Azul, then almost any play goes down column O. Whereas after Ozalad, it's a little harder to get a play to fit there. So I think that's a very defensible decision. Is disjacent good?
I don't think so. It's not, no.
You're getting some insight into how my brain works when I play Scrabble. It's basically just like a constant battle to not play phonies. And Evan,
at least you get everything else right.
Evan with a remarkable pull. I'm sure that's not what he had in mind.
Or someday that will be valid.
Which permutation of those tiles? I'm not sure. Could you sound it out for me? It's just so I can
be in a million years. Yeah. Oh, it's also, yeah, okay. So Jason, I guess Jason kind of reads that Evan is playing off a lot of tiles as well, and he's also doing the same. And I think the other thing is that, I mean, he's ahead, so the S is not very valuable on this board, so he can just go away with it instead of playing something like DIN.
Right, that's a good judgment on Jason's part. Oh, and he's pulled the blank.
He's picked up the blank. Wow.
Well, that never hurts.
Well, Evan is in a very tough position right now. Yeah, I just want to mention just now during the rewatch turn, Quacko's top static option was actually undriving.
That's hard.
Undriving. Yeah.
I mean, these boards really require a lot of this. Really, you find out from these kinds of boards if you're into it or not.
The U might have been useful with the Q, but I guess the best, what I might consider during that turn was probably to think with the Z, block, try to restrict it a little. That might have been what I would have done. That's probably the best option for him to come back, I think.
Sorry, when you say best, you're saying do you think Evan should have come back?
No, I think Jason should have probably done something with that line.
I see
Not so
what
sure
you mean.
how, but yeah.
You're saying block the Z so that Evan can't use it to score a million
That's
points
what
or
I would have
something.
considered. Yeah.
And Evan has gone with the exchange. I think he was pretty much forced to on that one. And it goes thematically with this protracted blank hunt that he's been on for several turns. Wow, I probably would have chosen different verbiage there had I realized how that would sound. Forgive me, world. Oh
Or
no.
with CSW 19, he could have played like OK/OK, but that would not have been an OK move.
I like it. We need more puns in this booth, and I'm not probably going to be the one delivering. So, also, we're not in a booth, but the audience doesn't know that. So,
We might be.
or are we? We have 79 people watching us right now. That's pretty amazing. I don't think I've had 79 people watch me since my PhD defense. Well, they're not watching me, and also apologies for the humble brag.
They can rewatch you. So,
You know,
pre-watch,
yeah, exactly.
which is not a word. Yeah.
Part of Jason's brain right there. Maybe that was that hesitation. He looked at pre-watch and he said, maybe? But good discipline there to chicken out of that one. I'll use the slight deadness we have here, and sorry to Evan for saying it, but this is can be a rough one to come back from. 56 points. But yeah, shout out to our viewers in other countries. This is a beautiful international game for those of you who only play in the U.S. And there are definitely some Singaporeans making some noise in the chat. So shout out to the Singaporean Scrabblers out there. Early morning over there. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, the chat made a very good suggestion, which we probably should have thought about instead of just bloviating. The chat came up with Lepoa to fork. Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do at this point? That would actually be a fan. That's actually that could even win.
16.
That one. Very interesting. So Evan has both of the last two A's, and he's setting up a Lu for himself. The pool is not so great for this maneuver, I don't think, because there's not a lot of consonants out there for him to snag. But it's
7 consonants, yeah, 7 consonants and 8 vowels.
it's a good fork. My goodness, what did Evan make some kind of a deal with the devil or something? This is apologies to the atheist viewers out there.
Probably, I don't think Jason can lose.
It would be kind of awesome if he did find a way at this point.
Essentially, what he has to do in this position is what possible bingos Evan would have, especially hooking Alu. And the K is unseen, so he may want to play on the triple, and can he get a bingo with the K on the double letter even? That would be a huge score. The bingo options for him, I mean, there are probably quite a few bingos. Be thinking, yeah, of playing a bingo that blocks the Alu line.
Yeah,
or something.
Very nice. This Floyds would be a great fit here.
They're probably better fits. I mean,
are there even bingos that Evan could have? Ontario.
Yeah, so Ontario probably.
Are there even any bingos with the K? I don't actually see.
I don't think so,
Recap, I
but
guess?
yeah. So I'm just talking about the process.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah, so
But yeah, you're right. In this situation, you don't want to just bingo willy-nilly. But you do want to look at the worst case scenarios and make sure that you can outrun them. For instance, if there was an H in the pool and Evan had Akiraho as a possibility at making a Lu, that would be like 105. So even if Jason bingoed for 70, which he's pretty much about to do, then he could still lose. But I think actually with this pool, Ontario is about the worst thing in there. So, but he should at least figure out if he can outrun Ontario.
yeah, he's probably seen like Ontario and probably figured out that he would outrun it.
Ontario does fit quite nicely on column A now for 83, in which case Evan would only need 18 from Jason's rack. So actually, I think that Jason would have lost if Evan had Ontario.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because with the K in there, he would have had 20 points on his rack. He's up 106. Ontario would have been 83. No, he would have won by 3 points.
19.
Anyway, not to speculate too much about counterfactuals, but
Ontario, well, yeah, I'm looking at it on Quackle now. So Ontario would have, beside Lonus, would have actually gotten a tie.
wow. Yes, because the O would have been doubled. Yeah, so that was actually a sloppy play on Jason's part. Sorry, not to call him out when he listens to this later, but that is the one bingo in the pool that he should have identified, and he should have at least had some kind of a plan for. He was also low on time, to be fair, but I would have liked to see a play from him on that turn that guarded against that possibility.
Probably something like S-Loins, I think.
Yeah, S-Loins
wouldn't have been too hard
tidy.
to spot, I think.
He just ran out of time.
Is there a minute?
It's true, actually. That's a fantastic point. Like if he has 59 seconds here, he knows he's not going to need the 59 seconds for anything else. So I would agree. You want to be disciplined about spending at least another 45 seconds looking for a bingo there. So
I think when you're short on time, it's important to know which moves you need to spend time on.
Right. Well, you know that after you bingo, nothing really matters. So.
Yeah. Either you win or lose. Yeah. I mean, either he bingos back or he doesn't, and you win.
And Jason puts down his last letter and moves to 4-1, and Evan BEROFSKY drops to 3-2.
Oh wait, yeah, 450.
I think
Final
that
scores on Quackle, 453 to Jason, 338 to Evan.
After I played Oscillate, I kept EE. I picked up EKOOO. Yeah. So I could tell, and you know what? I've just been having I'm not sure.
Yeah, I suspect that both of these gentlemen are going to look back at this recording, if they bother to, and feel that they could have done better. With that said, I think they came up against some really challenging positions and found some pretty good solutions to them. So certainly nothing to be ashamed of, but especially rewatch would have been a golden opportunity for Evan to get back in the game.
I could have played. I actually had ME blank here. I felt like
I think there were quite a few interesting balancing options, especially at the start of the game. But for Jason, I think probably one of the biggest mistakes was not to play Hag and Minjia.
Right.
Yeah. other than
using
that,
an
I think,
S.
you know,
Using an S.
Yeah.
But it was.
a lot of it came down to
It was around the same
preferences over
score, so.
belief and
So, hold on. I mean, all the
you know.
S's were obviously on scene at that point.
Yeah, arguably Jason played the more solid
Yeah,
game
it
there.
was-
Not that it really
was
matters in terms of.
And then this one here.
I don't think we have to
I'm, like,
obsess
thinking,
over
I'm
who
also,
deserved to
well,
win
all the
because
S's
they
are on
lost
the
3
other-
points of
because
equity
I think I
fewer.
had R, and I was really
But
tempted, especially
you're right
with
that besides the hag
there.
hook, I
was
think
very
that
tempted to try to hold it, but I was
I think
like,
Jason
we're holding it
was
for.
probably a little bit tighter.
And then
I
it
think
was
Evan is
short.
going to be kicking himself also for
And,
not
you know, I
thinking
had
of the
crazy
Jason
thoughts going through my
hooks
head there,
or extensions. I think he would have played
the
quite
watch hooks as
differently
well, yeah.
if he were right. Right.
So Jason won.
Jason won.
But yeah, that was a great encounter. Thanks to the world for not saying mean things on Twitch chat for my first time
Not a
commentating.
very exciting.
And more than anything, thanks to Weibin, it's a dream to commentate against the Merlion of Singapore. Well, that's not you.
I'm not the Merlion. The Merlion.
The Mirror Cub.
It's too
But
high.
really,
It's too
it's
high.
a pleasure. So
Downs and an R. Okay, yeah.
seems like we should stop talking and